This is a continued discussion from the previous episode of Nose to Tail, a podcast where we explore the world of aviation lifecycle solutions, insights, and more. Presented by Jet Midwest.
Now, you had mentioned that you did an internship, and obviously the European model of internships and apprenticeships is a little bit different than we have here in the U.S. What kind of advice would you give to a young person who wanted to come in and get into the aviation industry? What kind of path seemed to make sense based on your experience?
There's a whole multitude. I've been to many career fairs in my time. I was on the university liaison team in Rolls-Royce trying to do exactly this. Give younger folk an advice as to what they really want to do. If you're an engineer, you're an engineer. All right, that's just the way that it is. If you're let's say a finance person or whatever, you're probably going to finance. If you're somewhere in the middle, you're going to go into sales or something like that. I think it's really important to figure out exactly what it is you want to do. And probably enter into a large company if you can in aviation through one of these, a short-term-ish, I say short-term, like 1 to 2 year program if you can, where you cycle through different departments and then you figure out exactly what fits and what suits you. Then you can go, actually, I want to focus and specialize on that. That's what I love doing. That's my passion. And then you build your career from there. Like everyone, you become more rounded as you get that little bit older. We're not exactly young pups anymore between the pair of us, but hey, you start to learn a little bit more. You start to, grow your ambition as to what you want to do and where you want to be in the future. So my advice would be just talk to people. Be honest with them. Tell them what you like, what you don't like. Because everyone thinks they know everything when you're 18 or 19 years old. And when you look back, you know absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That guy at 18, when I was 25, that guy was an idiot.
Absolutely.
When I was 35, that guy at 25 was an idiot too. So.
Unless they do it Instagram now, and now I'm the idiot that has no idea how to do it.
Exactly. Well, that's good. So when you did have some time then at Rolls-Royce then to help nurture that,
yep.
Did it have the impact that Rolls-Royce wanted? Were they really trying to drive people into their programs, or was it really more of a generalized approach?
I think I would say, again, I was a little bit different. I was lucky. I did 10 weeks through the summer. That was my initial internship. And then they actually offered to sponsor me, a grand sum of, I think, £1,500 at the time for the next year, which, back then, that was a lot of money for a student, I can tell you. They gave me a lot of good nights out. And I just loved the idea of coming back and diversifying and understanding a little bit more about the company. And I was really influenced by people that you meet, too. I think every company is about the people. The company is the company, and it will do what it will do. But it's about the people, the employees that actually make it that great company that makes you want to go back and makes you want to stay. For me, did Rolls-Royce have the effect? Absolutely. Did I want to leave? Honestly, no, I didn't. But am I glad I left? Yes. But very different reasons. Would I go back to Rolls-Royce or advise someone to join Rolls-Royce today? 100% I would. Or any of the other big manufacturers, because they all have similar programs.
Well, that's good. It's good. It was a great experience for you. A lot of people that I do talk to, they leave and there's some disgruntled nature to that. Part of that's introspection, right? What is it about? What am I taking away from this? What do we learn? I've spent a lot of energy in the last handful of years really trying to work on myself and my leadership and guiding my company and really seeing and hearing people. And I had to teach myself these interpersonal skills. The coach in me, right?
Yep.
When I first started coaching as a young man, it was hellfire and brimstone, and we're going to tear the walls off this building. And as my life's gone on, I've seen things differently and how, my behavior impacts people. And I've had to change into someone who really needs to understand the people and make my decisions all about the people.
Yep.
And I've been very lucky to have a team that's grown with us in the last, decade. We've had an awful lot of our team members that keep sticking around and sticking through the tough times. And now when times are starting to look really good. And interestingly enough, in the last couple of years, post-COVID, we've had employees come back. Just like you were saying, would you go back to Rolls-Royce?
Yep.
And we've had employees who left and for good reasons. And they said, hey, you guys are hiring again. Can I come back? And absolutely. You're part of the family. And just because that was, your life took you in a different direction 4 years ago doesn't mean you're not welcome back here. And so we've been very lucky to have that good family environment where we really are focused on our people and makes all of the product go out the door the way it's supposed to. It makes all of them working towards that same objective. Just makes things much easier.
Well, I think that's credit to you and credit to the company for doing that. And I think the culture is one of the most important things in a company, to be very honest. We have a great working culture at Barnes, right down from our president, actually group CEO. Everything is about personal people? How do we interact? How do we diversify? How do we include? There's a really good culture of people who are just there. We're very diversified. We're proud of it. You know, we have a good number of females in our business, which is great when you look at it, because we are a manufacturing company and a repair company in aviation. It's hard to attract some good female talent, but we have some great female talent in the company too. So credit to the owners and credit to you guys as well for bringing people back. We would always take people back if they left on good terms. You know, why not? You've invested a lot of money training them. They understand your way. They obviously get on with people in the company. Well, why turn them away? Welcome them back with open arms and say, hey, come back and help us out. We're growing. We can all grow. We can all be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of as we wind down, I want to give you an opportunity to maybe talk about, is there anything else you want to add to the conversation or driving here, whether it's anything we're talking about, doesn't need to be Barnes.
So I'll challenge you here on your question.
Perfect. I'll tell you what, right before you send this challenge, because the challenge is accepted, there's a couple of...
God bless you.
This is how we finish our day here.
Left-handed.
Cheers.
Left-handed.
That's the rugby, apparently. Because otherwise I'm going to shout something that you ain't going to like. No, really my question was about, you're talking about challenging yourself and developing yourself as a leader. I think one of the hardest things I've faced as well is about that development of becoming a personnel leader. It's hard, and I've experienced it as well, and I'd like to ask you on your experience of being a coach in either football or rugby. How has that helped you develop and bring those skills from coaching in a sporting environment into a work environment?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And I would say very confidently that my personal philosophy has shifted. I started coaching in 1996. So it's been many moons, many players who've seen lots of sides of me. Where I've landed, really when I went back to the youth level of coaching, is that ultimately we have to trust each other. If we're on the pitch together and I'm on your outside, I got to trust that you're going to have the cutback. And I have to trust. And then that can't be enough. On top of that, you have to forgive. Genuinely forgive. Because when I miss a tackle and it's on me, you got to be able to come and forgive me. Otherwise, because I want it too. It wasn't because I wanted to miss the tackle, right? And so I've learned that there's this very clear relationship between trust and forgiveness. And oftentimes I'll ask a player who makes a mistake and I'll literally walk up to them or one of their teammates walk up to them and say, man, we forgive you. Let it go, move on. And everybody makes mistakes.
Yep.
And it does an amazing thing of bringing that person back into the fold very quickly and gives them an opportunity to be competitive again in the next 5 or 10 or 15 seconds that they need to recover mentally and emotionally. And when the whole team is that way, and that's the expectation from everyone, then they almost never get off kilter. It makes it a very even emotional state, and players are able to focus on the things they need to instead of focusing on that error. I told a story earlier about walking out of my office with a big grin on my face, and Ashley, who runs our sales department, says, what's the big smile for? And I was like, man, just found out I lost $1 million. And she's looking at me like, oh, why are you smiling? I go, well, because I'm never going to do that again, right? And so, those lessons that we learn and how we take them, I could have taken that and been a brute to myself, but I forgave myself. And then I gave all of that information to all of my team members, said, this is the mistake I made. And we probably have made similar mistakes, and that's okay. If we're not making mistakes, we're not doing the right things either, right?
Absolutely.
So you'll never be great if you're not making mistakes. And really, so put those two pieces together in perspective and how you approach things, that I'm going to trust my mate, and then I'm going to forgive them when they screw up, and they're going to forgive me, and we're going to move on. And it's been an amazing journey for me to have to do it. And my team members will often get off a conference call, and my leaders will be like, man, you handled that super patient. I'm like, I'm learning. So slowly but surely, I'm going to grind all of that hellfire brimstone out of my soul. Maybe reserve that for a special occasion, But really, that's the piece of coaching that I've gotten back to. And honestly, it's one of the most things I'm the most proud of from my development, was getting to a different place. I was a bear of a boss. A decade ago, I was a bear, inappropriately so. And it took a lot for me to go, I can't be this. person. I don't want to be this person anymore. I need to be a different person because this isn't good for me. It's not good for them, and it's not fair. So again, long journey, but I feel pretty awesome about where I'm at, and it certainly helps other people to model what we do because they're going to model it. When I was a bear, they were bears, and that's not good. And when I used to yell at my players, they would yell at each other, and then we lost all continuity of team. And so again, bringing that back full circle is so happy that I've gotten to this place, and I continue to give that gift out as often as I can. So.
And, it's really important that actually that lesson is something you brought back into the workplace, I'm sure, right? I mean, speaking to some of your colleagues and everything else, everyone's happy, as you say. It's nice to hear someone refer to the company as a family. This is our family. So kudos to you. God bless you on that one. That's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I won't shout Buffalo then, by the way. I won't shout Buffalo. You were right-hand drinking. She knows what it means.
Not yet. What does one shot Buffalo mean?
Buffalo. So if you're drinking with your right hand, that means you have to finish your pint in one.
But this isn't a pint.
Brilliant. God bless you. That's a good rugby thing. You should take that back. Anyone who's drinking with the right hand, Buffalo. Make them drink.
So I was watching the Ireland-Scotland game in Kansas City, and we actually had a foreign exchange student coming in from Ireland. And so we went to go to an Irish pub to watch the match. And I'd maybe had a couple the night before, so I was going to definitely take my time, ease into it. No chance. By the time the match started, I had 2 beers, one in each hand, the entire time. If I put one down, another one came in.
Guinness, I hope.
Smithwick's. That's not how you pronounce it. Smithwick's. So it was a great afternoon, but let's say I watched the England-France game, which was a phenomenal match.
It was indeed.
But I watched that the next weekend, so I definitely didn't get to watch
slightly
that
less beverages in your hand.
Yeah. Anyway, so I always like to ask everybody, what their favorite aircraft is and why, and so I'd love to hear what you have from an engine guy's perspective.
So
Put you on the spot here.
No, it's fine. I was actually once asked, I was on a panel and someone was talking about engines and they said, hey, so which is your favorite aircraft, and why and which engines? And my answer was actually, it doesn't really matter. It's the one with the most comfortable seats, which still holds true. But that kind of gets me to where my favorite aircraft is probably the A380, which a lot of people wouldn't say. I'm sure a lot of people are saying 747s or whatever. The 380 for me, it was the first time I ever flew in first class, so that was obviously great, and a Middle East product as well, so that was great from Etihad. And then also the product in Emirates that you're referring to. I mean, what a great way to spend your trip, right? You go to the back, you sit at the bar, and you have a few beverages, and you meet a whole bunch of cool people, wherever you're flying to. So that's why the A380 is my favorite aircraft, I would say. It's a sociable aircraft.
Well, and it's got Trent 900s on it, so it's got a Rolls-Royce product
Absolutely.
On there. That's pretty good. So we've actually torn down a couple of A380s.
Okay.
So we've got them stored in Mojave. I'm yet to fly on one. It seems like I always end up, my Dubai trip seems to be a 777-300ER out of Chicago.
Okay.
But that's an interesting 15-hour flight. But it's okay in the middle class. I'm okay with that. But
when you come to the Dubai 7s with your sister, then you can fly the A380s across, and you can tell me how the bar experience was at the back.
Perfect. I think I can live to that. So, listen, I appreciate you coming in. I know it was short notice. You're filling in here and giving us some great insight. Really enjoyed the conversation. For all of you out there listening here to the Nose to Tail podcast, we appreciate you guys joining us here in Chicago. We got much more to come, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Nose to Tail. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Presented by Jet Midwest.